we all celebrate birthday, but our birthday we should not celebrate, and that's why I made this video. We follow Gregorian calendar, which is simply a 365 days in a row in a year. Here is a twist, but according to our Gregorian calendar there is 365 days, but it's not the end of the list, because there is more than 40 calendar is still running in this world in 2021. Our calendar, I mean Gregorian calendar, is mostly followed by the all over the world and mostly followed by the most populations over the world. But what make it more precise? Because every calendar has a different approach to calculate the year, but here one day is basically the same amount of time which Earth takes to rotate its own axis. But why do we have 365 days in a year? Specifically saying, we have 365 days because rotations in its own axis at Earth is taking the 365 times of that day to come to the same positions in the solar system. But that's not the end of the story. But how much perfect a day is? Earth is rotating, but it's slowing down. That's why the amount of day is increasing all over the time. And here is a special calculation for you. A day was shorter in the past and longer in the future. So it's kind of weird, but it's true. And also this happened due to the tidal effect from the moon. The length of a day increased 2.3 milliseconds per century from the 8th century BCE. According to atomic clock, our day is longer 1.7 milliseconds than the century ago. So here is a fun fact for you. Hitler was born 1890 and it's all about 130 years ago. But when I will calculate this value in the hours, it takes about 1 million hours. And if I calculate in seconds, it would be like 4 billion seconds ago Hitler were born. But it's not the story of our Earth itself, because Earth is rotating around the sun, and sun with all the planet itself is rotating through the Milky Way. So the speed is huge. The sun with the solar system is moving around 210 km per second, and considering your age is 20 years, you move about 120 billion kilometer. But that's not the story, because there is another thing. It's Milky Way and its rotations. Its rotation is about 210 km per second, and calculating all of this will give you such impressive result, which is 2.1 million kilometer per hour we are moving through the universe. So we are moving about 600,000 meter per second through the universe. Sounds cool, right? But what if I tell you that it's also not end of the story, because we, the human being, has a lot of cells, the biological cells, and the study shows that it estimates about 10 to the power 13, which means about 15 trillion cells in our body. And do you know one thing? That cell divides itself, and also cell dies. And in human, 100 billion cells died each day, and we are being replaced by other 100 billion cells. So we are replacing ourselves. So we are not the same one which I born into. The average cell would weigh about 10 to the power minus 12 gram or 10 to the power minus 13 gram. So averaging all of that, a single cell weigh about only 10 to the power minus 13 or 10 to the power minus 12 gram. Well, that makes sense, but here is a twist. So 100 billions of the cells each day makes up about 3.5 gram, and we are losing about 3.5 grams and replacing with the new one. So averaging your weight about 50 kg, I can tell you that you are replacing yourself within 40 years, and that's so ridiculous, right? So from the time you were born, we are not in the same space, in the space-time continuum, in the universe. We are not in the equal loop of time, because time is changing in a way special theory of relativity tells us, and also in a way that leap year comes into a place in every 4 years. Most importantly, you are partly dying every day and converting into someone else.